Mia stood near gate 18 with her backpack held close to her chest. She was 13 and trying to look brave. The airport felt like a moving river of people, rolling bags, and loud announcements. Her father had walked her through every step before he left her at security. He had said she should speak clearly, stay polite, and never panic. Mia repeated those words in her head like a small promise. She checked the time on the big screen and then looked at her boarding pass again. The paper felt warm from her hands. Her name was printed cleanly, and her seat number looked correct. She had read it 3 times on the ride to the airport. Even so, her stomach still fluttered with nerves. Traveling alone sounded exciting when her friends talked about it, but standing here made it feel real and serious. A family argued softly nearby about carry-on bags. A man in a suit walked fast while talking on his phone. A little boy tugged at his mother's sleeve and pointed at a plane outside the window. Mia watched the plane for a moment and imagined what it would feel like to lift off the ground. She pictured the city shrinking like a toy set and the clouds looking like soft hills. That picture helped her breathe. Boarding began and the line moved forward. Mia stepped in behind a woman with a red coat. The woman smiled politely and looked away. Mia wished her father could see her standing there. He would have nodded and told her she was doing great. She held her shoulders straight and kept her face calm. When it was her turn, Mia walked to the counter and held out her boarding pass and ID. The flight attendant at the scanner had a neat bun and sharp eyes. Her name tag read Linda. Linda took the papers and scanned the pass without looking at Mia's face. The scanner beeped in a way that sounded wrong. Linda's mouth tightened and she scanned it again. The scanner beeped again. Linda lifted her eyes and looked Mia up and down. Mia felt the weight of that look like a cold wind. Linda's voice turned hard. She said the ticket was not valid. Mia blinked and tried to keep her voice steady. She said her father booked the flight and told her it was confirmed. Linda held the boarding pass between 2 fingers as if it was dirty. She said people show up every day with wrong documents. She said Mia needed to step aside and stop slowing the line. A few passengers behind Mia leaned to see what was happening. Mia heard someone sigh loudly. Another person muttered that they were going to miss the flight. Mia swallowed and tried again. She said there must be a mistake and asked if Linda could check the booking number. She pointed to the code on the pass. Linda did not even look at the code. Linda said the system does not lie. Linda said Mia was not boarding. Mia felt her cheeks burn. She looked at the floor for a second and then lifted her head. She remembered her father's advice. She kept her voice calm and said she would call her dad. Linda gave a short laugh that sounded like a door slamming. Linda said Mia could call anyone she wanted. Linda said it would not change the rules. Mia stepped aside near a pillar so the line could pass. She pulled her phone from her pocket and stared at the screen. Her fingers trembled. She hated that they trembled. She hated that strangers were watching. She took a breath and typed her father's name. She pressed call. He answered quickly. His voice sounded normal at first, like he was still working. Mia could hear the quiet hum of an office in the background. Mia told him what happened. She said the flight attendant said the ticket was not valid. She said the scanner beeped and then the attendant took the pass and refused to check the code. Mia paused and tried not to sound like she was begging. She said she was standing near the gate and did not know what to do. For a moment there was silence on the line. Then her father's voice changed. It became steady and serious, like he was holding something heavy but refusing to drop it. He told Mia to stay where she was. He told her not to argue and not to raise her voice. He told her to keep her phone charged and to stay in view of the gate desk. He said he would handle it right now. Mia asked if she did something wrong. Her father said she did nothing wrong. He said she did exactly what he taught her. He said he was proud of her. Mia felt a small relief spread through her chest. She held onto that feeling like a life jacket. Mia ended the call and looked back at the counter. Linda was still boarding passengers, moving fast and acting like nothing happened. Mia watched her hands tear off baggage tags and point people down the jet bridge. Linda laughed with a couple in the front row and smiled in a way she did not smile at Mia. Mia's stomach tightened again. She wondered if the plane would leave without her. The idea of being left behind made her throat feel dry. A tall man with a coffee walked past and looked at Mia. He frowned as if he sensed something unfair. He did not say anything. He walked away. Mia felt a sting of disappointment, but she also understood. People often stayed quiet when a problem was not theirs. Mia checked the gate screen again. Boarding continued. The last group was coming soon. Mia took out the torn edge of her boarding pass that Linda had tossed back at her. It was creased from Mia's grip. The printed letters were still clear. Mia stared at her name and felt like it was being questioned. She wished the paper could speak for her. She tried to stay busy by recalling details her father told her about travel. He said if she felt overwhelmed, she should focus on small tasks. He said count her breaths and keep her feet planted. He said drink water and keep her shoulders relaxed. Mia did all of it. She counted 5 breaths. She rolled her shoulders back gently. She took a sip from her small water bottle. She looked at the window and watched baggage carts move like ants on the runway. Then her phone buzzed with a new message from her father. It was short and clear. It told her to look for a man in a dark suit who would arrive at the gate. It told her to show him her ID and wait for his instructions. Mia read the message twice. She felt both hope and fear. Hope because her father was acting fast. Fear because she did not know what kind of scene this would become. A few minutes later, Mia noticed something shift in the air around the gate. 2 airline employees in matching uniforms walked up and spoke to each other in low voices. One looked at the desk screen and then looked at Mia. Their faces were serious. One of them picked up a phone behind the counter and turned away. Linda's smile faded. She leaned toward the monitor and tapped keys quickly. She glanced at Mia again, this time with a sharper edge in her eyes. Mia's heart started to race. She reminded herself to stay calm. She held her phone in both hands. She scanned the crowd for a dark suit. People still moved past in lines. Announcements still echoed above. But Mia sensed that something important was about to happen. She did not know yet what it would be. She only knew her father said he would handle it, and he never said that unless he meant it. Mia stood still beside the pillar and waited. She kept her chin lifted and her feet planted. The gate lights reflected on the polished floor beneath her. The boarding line thinned, and the final passengers moved toward the bridge. Linda looked toward the hallway behind the gate desk as if expecting someone. Mia followed that look and listened closely. The sound of quick footsteps came from the corridor, growing louder with each second. Mia stood still as the footsteps grew closer from the corridor behind the gate desk. A man in a dark suit appeared, walking with purpose and holding a phone to his ear. His face was serious and focused. 2 supervisors followed him, both wearing badges that marked them as senior staff. The chatter at the gate slowly faded as people sensed something unusual unfolding. The man lowered his phone and looked directly at Mia. He asked her name in a calm voice. Mia answered clearly and showed her ID as her father instructed. The man nodded and thanked her for waiting patiently. He told her she had done the right thing. Mia felt a small wave of relief, but she stayed quiet and respectful. Linda watched from behind the counter with her arms crossed. Her confident posture from earlier was gone. She asked what the delay was about and why boarding had stopped. The man in the suit turned toward her and asked her to explain the situation. Linda spoke quickly and said the ticket did not scan properly. She said she believed the booking was incorrect and that she followed procedure. One of the supervisors asked if Linda had checked the booking code manually. Linda hesitated and said the system showed an issue. The supervisor asked again if she had checked the code. Linda did not answer right away. The silence around the gate became heavy. The man in the suit asked for the torn boarding pass. Mia stepped forward and handed over the paper carefully. The man studied it and compared it with information on his tablet. His expression changed as he read. He passed the tablet to one of the supervisors, who raised his eyebrows in surprise. The supervisor said the ticket was valid and fully paid. He said there was no restriction or error. He said the seat was reserved correctly. The second supervisor nodded and confirmed the same information. Several nearby passengers gasped softly when they heard this. Linda shook her head and said there must be a system glitch. She said mistakes happen all the time. The man in the suit replied that mistakes do happen, but procedures exist to protect passengers. He asked Linda why she tore the ticket instead of seeking help. Linda looked down and did not answer. Mia felt her heart beating hard, but she stayed calm. She remembered her father's words about dignity. She kept her hands folded in front of her and stood straight. She noticed some passengers watching her with sympathy now. A woman near the front offered Mia a small encouraging smile. The man in the suit stepped slightly away and spoke quietly into his phone again. He mentioned the gate number and asked for executive confirmation. Within moments, several staff phones buzzed at once. The large screen above the gate changed and displayed a message asking all boarding to pause. A ripple of whispers spread through the waiting area. People checked their watches and phones, wondering what caused the delay. Some passengers looked annoyed, while others seemed curious. Mia felt exposed, but she also felt supported for the first time since the problem began. One supervisor approached Mia and knelt slightly to meet her eye level. He apologized for what she experienced. He said the airline values every passenger. He said they were investigating the matter immediately. Mia nodded and thanked him politely. Linda's face grew pale as another staff member approached her and asked her to step away from the counter. Linda protested softly and said she did nothing wrong. The staff member explained that this was standard procedure during a review. Linda followed reluctantly. The man in the suit returned his attention to Mia. He told her her father was on the line and wished to speak with her. He handed Mia the phone carefully. Mia held it with both hands and pressed it to her ear. Her father's voice was calm and steady. He asked if she was safe and comfortable. Mia said she was fine. She told him staff were helping now. Her father told her again that she did nothing wrong. He said he was proud of how she handled herself. Mia felt warmth fill her chest and had to blink to keep her eyes clear. Her father told her to stay where she was and listen to the staff. He said everything would be taken care of. Mia said she trusted him. She handed the phone back to the man in the suit, who nodded respectfully. After the call ended, the supervisors spoke quietly among themselves. One of them typed notes into a device while the other reviewed camera footage on a screen behind the desk. Their expressions were serious and focused. It was clear this was not a small issue. The man in the suit announced that boarding would resume shortly. He explained there had been an internal issue that required immediate attention. He thanked passengers for their patience. Some passengers nodded, while others sighed in relief. A new boarding pass was printed for Mia. One of the supervisors handed it to her with both hands. He explained that she would be escorted onto the plane personally. Mia thanked him and accepted the paper carefully. This new ticket felt heavier, not in weight, but in meaning. Linda was guided toward the office area by another supervisor. She looked back once at the gate. Her expression held shock and disbelief. No one spoke to her as she walked away. Mia stood quietly as the gate prepared to reopen. She felt different now. The fear she carried earlier had softened. In its place was a sense of strength she did not know she had. She realized she had faced something difficult and stayed true to herself. Passengers began lining up again. Some glanced at Mia with new respect. A man near the window nodded at her, as if acknowledging her courage. Mia offered a small smile in return. The man in the suit returned and told Mia it was time to board. He walked beside her as they approached the jet bridge. The noise of the airport faded behind them. Mia took one last look at the gate where everything had happened. She knew she would remember this moment for a long time. As she stepped forward, Mia felt ready for what came next. She did not know how the situation would fully end yet. She only knew that standing up quietly and with respect had changed everything. Mia walked down the jet bridge with steady steps while the man in the dark suit stayed close beside her. The tunnel felt long and narrow, and the air smelled like clean metal and cool ventilation. Mia could hear the distant sounds of the plane, like soft beeps and the gentle movement of people settling into seats. She kept her backpack straps tight on her shoulders and tried to calm her breathing. At the plane door, another flight attendant greeted them with a polite smile. Her name tag read Nora. Nora looked at Mia's new boarding pass, then looked at the man in the suit, and her eyes widened slightly. She straightened her posture and spoke gently. She welcomed Mia aboard and asked if she needed anything. Mia shook her head and said she was okay. Her voice was quiet, but it did not shake. Nora nodded, then guided Mia down the aisle. Passengers turned their heads to look. Some faces held curiosity, and some held concern. Mia felt the attention, but she did not let it bend her. They reached a seat near the front. Nora told Mia it was a quiet area and that she would be comfortable there. Mia sat down slowly and placed her backpack under the seat in front of her. She ran her fingers over the armrest, grounding herself in the reality that she was finally on the plane. The man in the suit leaned slightly toward her and spoke in a calm tone. He told her she handled everything with patience and respect. He told her that mattered. Mia nodded, unsure what to say. She felt tired inside, as if the last hour had been a long day. Nora offered Mia a cup of water. Mia accepted it and took a small sip. The water cooled her throat and helped her relax. Nora asked if Mia wanted to call her father again before takeoff. Mia looked at her phone and then nodded. Nora stepped aside so Mia could have privacy. Mia called her father. He answered quickly, and his voice came through clear and steady. He asked how she was feeling. Mia said she was on the plane now and safe. Her father asked if anyone was treating her kindly. Mia said yes. Her father exhaled softly, as if releasing a weight. He told Mia that what happened at the gate was being handled officially. He told her he wanted the airline to be a place where every passenger felt respected. He said this was not only about her ticket. He said it was about how people are treated when they are vulnerable and alone. Mia listened closely, letting his words settle in her mind. Mia asked if she would get in trouble for calling him. Her father said no. He said she did what any person should do when something feels wrong. He reminded her again that she stayed calm and honest. He told her that is real strength. Mia felt her eyes get warm again, but she blinked and held herself together. Her father told her to look out the window during takeoff and think about where she was going. He said the sky has a way of making problems feel smaller. Mia smiled slightly at that. She said she would. He told her he loved her. Mia said it back in a soft voice and ended the call. After the call, Mia placed her phone in her pocket and looked around. People were still settling. Some overhead bins closed with soft clicks. A couple nearby spoke in whispers. A man across the aisle glanced at Mia and then quickly looked away, as if unsure if he should speak. Nora returned and asked if Mia needed anything else. Mia asked a simple question about the flight time. Nora answered kindly and explained what would happen next. She said the plane would push back soon and they would take off shortly after. She reminded Mia to keep her seatbelt on. Mia thanked her. Mia leaned back and stared at the seat in front of her. The fabric pattern looked like small waves. She traced the waves with her eyes and tried to slow her thoughts. Part of her wanted to replay the gate scene again and again. Another part of her wanted to forget it and move forward. Then she noticed movement near the front. The man in the suit spoke quietly with the captain at the doorway. The captain listened with a serious expression. The captain nodded once and said something low. The man in the suit nodded back. Their conversation ended quickly, but the mood felt important. A few minutes later, Nora walked down the aisle and stopped near Mia's row. She spoke softly to another attendant and then turned to Mia. She told Mia that the captain wished to greet her briefly. Mia felt her stomach flutter again. She did not know if she was ready for more attention. Mia stood slowly and followed Nora to the front. The captain was a middle-aged man with calm eyes. His name tag read Captain Reed. He spoke with a gentle voice. He told Mia he was sorry she experienced trouble at the gate. He told her that on his plane, every passenger is treated with respect. He thanked her for staying composed. Mia nodded and said thank you. She did not say much, but her quiet answer carried weight. Captain Reed told Nora to make sure Mia was comfortable during the flight. Nora nodded and said she would. Mia returned to her seat. On the way back, she noticed a woman near the aisle watching her. The woman spoke softly and said Mia did not deserve what happened. Mia felt a sudden tightness in her chest, not from fear this time, but from the kindness. Mia whispered thank you and sat down again. As the plane prepared to push back, the safety announcement began. Mia listened, but her mind drifted. She thought about how quickly a moment can change. 1 minute she was a nervous girl holding a ticket. The next minute she was standing in silence while adults argued about her right to travel. She realized that sometimes people judge before they listen. She also realized that calm courage can make others pay attention. The plane started moving slowly away from the gate. Mia looked out the window. The airport lights and service vehicles slid past. She watched workers on the ground guiding the plane with careful signals. Everything looked precise and organized. Mia found comfort in that. As they lined up for takeoff, Mia placed her hands on her lap and pressed her palms lightly against her legs. She reminded herself to breathe. The engines grew louder. The plane rolled forward faster. Mia felt the push in her seat as the plane lifted into the air. For a moment, her stomach rose like it was floating. Then the ground dropped away. The airport became smaller, and the buildings turned into neat shapes. Mia remembered her father's words. The sky did make problems feel smaller, but it did not erase them. It simply gave space to think. Mia watched the clouds ahead like bright hills. Her fear had changed into something else. It became a quiet determination. She did not want special treatment. She wanted fair treatment. She wanted people to learn that respect should not depend on who someone is connected to. As the plane climbed higher, Mia promised herself something. She promised she would remember this day not as a moment of shame, but as a moment of growth. She promised she would stay kind even when others were not. She promised she would speak up when she could, and stay steady when she must. Behind her, the cabin settled into calm. The lights softened. The chatter lowered. Mia leaned back, held her seatbelt snug, and looked out at the wide sky. She felt like she was leaving one version of herself on the ground and carrying a stronger version into the clouds. Mia sat quietly as the plane reached a smooth and steady height above the clouds. The seatbelt sign turned off and the cabin relaxed into a gentle rhythm. People adjusted their seats and opened trays. The earlier tension felt far away now, like a storm left behind on the ground. Nora returned with a warm smile and asked if Mia would like something to eat or drink. Mia chose juice and a small snack. Nora placed them carefully on the tray and reminded Mia to press the call button if she needed anything. Mia thanked her with a soft voice and meant it. As Mia sipped her drink, she looked around the cabin. The faces around her were calm now. Some passengers watched movies. Some read quietly. A few rested with eyes closed. No one stared anymore. Mia felt like she finally blended into the space as just another traveler. She leaned her head back and thought about everything that happened. She replayed the gate moment in her mind, but this time it felt different. The fear was no longer sharp. It had softened into understanding. She understood that some people act before they think. She understood that silence can be heavy, but standing still with dignity can be powerful. Mia remembered her father telling her that character shows most when no one expects it. She thought about how she held her voice steady and did not argue. She thought about how she trusted herself even when adults doubted her. That thought made her chest feel warm and strong. Across the aisle, the man who had nodded earlier caught her eye again. This time he smiled gently. Mia returned the smile. It was small, but it felt real. Sometimes people need time to understand what they are seeing. The captain's voice came over the speaker. He welcomed everyone and thanked them for choosing the airline. His tone was calm and confident. He reminded passengers that kindness and patience help every journey. Mia listened closely to those words. She felt like they were meant for her. As the flight continued, Nora checked on Mia again. She asked if Mia was comfortable. Mia said yes. Nora told her that not everyone could handle a difficult moment with such calm. Mia did not know how to respond, so she simply thanked her again. Nora nodded and moved on. Mia opened the shade and watched the clouds roll past. The sky was wide and bright. Sunlight reflected softly on the wing. The world below was hidden, but Mia knew it was still there. She felt taller inside, like she had grown without anyone noticing. Time passed quietly. Mia finished her snack and folded the wrapper neatly. She placed it on the tray and stared at it for a moment. She realized that something simple like folding paper made her feel in control. Small actions mattered. She pulled her notebook from her bag and opened it to a blank page. Her father once told her that writing helps thoughts settle. Mia began to write about the gate, the voices, and how she felt standing alone. She wrote about staying calm and trusting herself. She did not write names. She wrote feelings. When she finished, she closed the notebook and felt lighter. The flight attendants moved smoothly through the aisle. The cabin lights adjusted slightly as the plane changed direction. Everything felt steady and organized. Mia liked that feeling. It made her believe that order can return even after confusion. Near the end of the flight, the man in the dark suit passed by Mia's seat. He paused and spoke quietly. He told her that what happened would help improve training and awareness. He told her she made a difference by staying composed. Mia listened and nodded. She did not feel proud in a loud way. She felt proud in a quiet and solid way. As the plane began its descent, Mia felt a gentle pressure in her ears. She swallowed and looked out the window again. The clouds parted, revealing land below. Buildings and roads came into view. The journey was nearly over. The captain spoke again and thanked passengers for their patience and cooperation. He wished everyone a pleasant arrival. Mia held her seatbelt and breathed slowly as the plane lowered. When the wheels touched the ground, the cabin filled with a soft vibration. The plane slowed and turned toward the terminal. Passengers clapped lightly. Mia smiled to herself. She had made it. As the plane taxied, Mia thought about seeing her father soon. She imagined his calm smile and steady eyes. She knew he would not make a scene. He would listen and then remind her how strong she had been. When the plane stopped and the doors opened, Nora returned and told Mia she could take her time exiting. Mia stood, lifted her bag, and stepped into the aisle. Passengers moved slowly. Some thanked the crew. Some stretched and yawned. As Mia walked toward the door, she felt a sense of completion. The fear from the beginning of the day no longer followed her. In its place was confidence shaped by experience. At the door, Nora wished Mia a safe journey ahead. Mia thanked her sincerely. She stepped into the terminal and felt the solid ground beneath her feet. Mia walked forward with calm steps, carrying more than just her bag. She carried a lesson she would never forget. Respect should never be questioned. Strength does not need to shout. And even when the world tests you, standing steady can change everything.